So I've been thinking about the concept a lot of wolf in sheep's clothing lately, and I think the truth of it is you should be a wolf only in scapegoat clothing, only in goat clothing. Only if you're having to should you whip out this brutality on the people around you, because usually those who have been scapegoated are just a little bit lighter, like more intelligent. Maybe there's something about them that's different. Maybe they're just more comfortable or like loving, able to love. Maybe they just have a natural beauty or essence about them. Regardless of whatever it is, there are certain people who just, no matter what happens in life, if they're always trying to do good, they just tend to get caught up in situations where they're belittled, they're abused, they deal with narcissists, as is such a popular term. You know, this common thing of like the path of the chosen one, as a lot of people would say. Well, we're all really, that chosen one. I think at this moment in time, you have the right to choose yourself. And that gets often confused with narcissism, and there's blurred lines that are used very strategically with the game players and the naive lovers of the game. Some people just love the game of life, and some people are players. So when you're someone who loves the game of life, you are usually scapegoated because you're dope, because you're concerned about having a good time. And people are players, they don't have main character energy, right? They aren't the main character themselves. So here comes the circus. So anyway, I had somebody comment on the short recently, which is indirect to this, but something I marinated on, because I do see how I'm a hyper emotional and I cannot control my emotions because I'm coming into awareness at this point. And so I'm just at a point of feeling those emotions. So you can't, sometimes people in lives are in the phase where you cannot grieve and also, how do I say this? It's not possible to be developing and great. You can't be improving and stable. Like they're not the same. They're two main tasks that are not possible. You can't half-ass either one of them. So you're either fully in the grief and you're working through it, and it should be expected for irrational behavior as long as it's not too toxic. It's introspective. Immediately after the reaction, it is met with reprogramming of what your future desire is. I don't know if people are going to be able to follow this, but I'm not sure it fucking matters anymore. The reason why I seem troubled is because I am. Is that not a beautiful thing, actually, that a young woman gives a shit, actually, about her community, the things that are happening outside of her community? Basically, if you're troubled, I mean, that's a good sign, because I have a lot to work through, right? I have a lot that I'm processing. So that can be troubling. And especially when sobriety, like when I'm freshly sober, okay, by choice, and then hit a Saturn return. I mean, of course it's divine timing, right? So you hit your Saturn return, sober by choice, leave your family behind because you see abuse, real abuse, not a trend of abuse. See, there's like I think it went from a time where there wasn't a lot of understanding or identity or acceptance within certain things like mental illness or in a lot of just anything personal related. Gay rights, you have problems in your mind that are seemed as irregular, whatever the case may be. Now, since it's become more accepted to express yourself and your vulnerabilities just in general, it's also become excuses. And so it blurs the lines, because there are master manipulators who do use the trends of sorrow to play the game of life. And then there are people who are lovers of the game of life, who don't want to take away from the serious situation. So, they maybe belittle their illness or their manipulation or whatever the case may be. I think I got away from the point because I'm saying a lot and I'm feeling a lot. And that truly is just it. I'm feeling a lot, and I got a fucking lot to say, and I'm understanding. And like any new, we should be, as a culture, I think just a slightly bit more enthusiastic about other people's passions. And even if you're passionate about the troubles of yourself or the world, if you're working to be literally anything better, just to be of service, even to yourself for the first time, that is good. That is a beautiful and commendable thing. It should not be frowned upon. It takes so much fucking work. And you know why I'll use that to bleed into the next topic of it's all one, right? It's all one topic. But fuck, I forgot, because there's so much running through my mind. It is very passionate though, so I don't need to explain it, but I do want to express that to people, that it comes from a place where I'm trying to solve what I can in myself, and then navigate how I can make an impact in a positive way, like the serenity prayer. It's like grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That is troublesome, and it should be positive and reinforced to go through these troubles together, on your own, as long as you feel authentic in your process. That should be a beautiful thing. And yeah, and as you do that, there's so much truth that you come into, and simultaneously as much evil truth as you come into, not only in the world but the people around you and yourself, you also come into understanding of how that was created in those people that hurt people, and you go through this phase of the micro and the macro of the world, your family, your interpersonal, all these things are developing. And navigating that experience can be very difficult. And there can be times where you can feel like the world wants evil to succeed. But once you connect, it takes time to connect to spirit and a sense of source and essence. Once you do though, you'll start to understand you'll just see it for what it is. You'll see it's objectivity. You're unemotional. You don't care that your family has betrayed you at a certain point, because you don't see them as your family. You just kind of see those people didn't really get the understanding. And it's not this person's neurodiversion and that's that, and this is this and that's that. That's not how I really look at it anymore in life. I kind of just think about it like people just want a reason to explain away their own discomfort. So when another person makes them uncomfortable, they want to say, well, that other person makes everyone uncomfortable because they're neurodivergent. But remember that whatever you say about a person is exactly how you feel about yourself. It's not a cliche. When I've been with every man I've been with, and I've had some beautiful artistic idea or some pursuit to move on and do anything, that even a friend, if people feed you fear, that's because those people are fearful, right? So it's like the same concept in everything that they say. Whatever they're feeding, their narrative is what they're gonna fit you into. So it takes time to understand that there are players in this world who are utilizing your energy, who are your own family, and that they actually are knowing it. That was crazy. Oops, sorry, Hopi. That was and is very crazy process to come into when you recognize that the people you've been feeling empathy and sympathy and making excuses for and bearing their pain are using you, and they know exactly what they're doing. And I think really that was the sentiment of this entire video, was to say one thing you can do to stop that immediately, or to just to stop yourself from the arguments that come day after day, hour after hour. There are definitely people who can align with me on this, where it's like you can go into environments where the toxicity is a constant war zone and your nervous system is in overdrive at all times, and you are in a complete survival mode, to where of course you can't focus on school, of course you can't succeed in all these other areas of life. Baby, be a little bit more gentle with yourself. Take a pause, step into the shoes of an objective point of view, look at your situation unemotionally and detached, see what you can do to change it. And here's what I was going to say: as you change, there will be times that you're wrong and you're toxic, and there will be times that other people are being toxic. And if you have a hard time navigating this, and you think that you're going to become victim to scapegoating, manipulation, gaslighting, any of these things, immediately start recording. Tell the person, okay, everyone knows when an argument's starting, right? When you start to feel that, just have enough wherewithal to say, okay, let's stop. Doesn't matter who it is, a boss. I don't give a fuck. Let's start recording. Because I always put it on myself, because a person cannot deny you self-accountability. So I'm just like, I need to know. And there's truth to it, but in the moment, I totally think they're full of shit if I'm willing to record. The point I'm trying to get at, let them know this is a part of my development. I have a lot of different, sure, call it fucking neurodivergent. I have different things I'm trying to work through. So for me to know that I'm not wrong in this conversation, I do need to record it, because I can make mistakes too. That, start looking at people's reactions to that, okay? And these kinds of things, when you start to do these kinds of things, not only are you protecting yourself, you're using an action-based method that isn't attacking another person and will only feed you. Because if you are in the wrong, you should see it. You should be willing to see it. It's not only record when it benefits you. If the roles reversed and it's a partnership, and you start requesting to record, and then the next person, and right, it happens, you win the argument, whatever the fuck you feel like you need to do in your fantasy. If the next time the other person wants to record and you're unwilling, you're a manipulator yourself, and you got to do some work. But since I started recording, and this happened obviously because I had to do it for court reasons, because I was dealing with mass manipulation, but since I started, arguments have quit, my nervous system has gotten better. I've been able to know who is going to actually do the work with me and who is just on brain chemistry mode. Some people just have default toxicity, and it's literally like it's not necessarily all their fault per se, because it's like, dude, we're in a world full of fucked people, we're all hurt. So saying there's no good to just pointing out someone's toxicity. It doesn't do anything. You have to do it and be willing to help them through it, or just walk away completely. There's no purpose in just sitting and telling a person how toxic they are all day. That's fucking dumb too. That's its own little game. You guys are bored. That's truly what it is. You lack creativity and you're bored, and you have such intense traumas. You got to figure it out. You all have to figure it out, because the world is not going to be pleasant, you know, to that brutality. Or I say the brutality of, like, it's going to get to a point where people who are self-serving, I don't think they're going to live. I just think it's going to get to a point where it's tribal again, and it's like, we got to be, sorry, there's a dog walking. It's making me very nervous. I don't know, but part of my femininity feels that the evil in the world is starting to fall. And I don't think humankind is to come to an end. I just think that lower density is falling off. So, like, AI might just be for those who are so soulless to literally just become energy sources, because that's what they've allowed themselves to become anyway. I mean, you allowed it. We allowed it. It's not the entity this and the entity that. This is coming from, like, a notorious scapegoat. I think that if you expect a happy life, it starts with accountability and not victimization. And the knowledge is out. Ooh, fuck. The knowledge is out. So, I mean, you do something to change it or you don't. So start recording. Start and just be nicer. Be easier to forgive, because you're going to be easier to forgive yourself. You don't have to continue to associate. Just understand, like, people are never really, I mean, even at the root, if they're really trying to attack you, it still comes from a place that's a wound in them that really has nothing to do with you. It's always how it is. Every psychology book you read has the same source. It's a childhood wound, brain development, substance use, abandonment, heartbreak, dirt until the end of the days. So I know that things will improve as I make more videos, but I have to make them when I'm passionate, because I don't know when else to make them. Like, I will sit down and be, oh, should I talk about Argo Navis, the constellation today? Or should I talk about the fucking Sumerians? And it's like, no, I need to talk about the things I feel, and people feel that off me. And if I seem troubled, then it's because I am. But maybe you should try and see yourself in me, and then maybe you'll get something out of it, and maybe I'll heal from, like, having some community, you know? So whatever. Anyway, it is a beautiful day, and that's it.